Good morning. This is Jason Dean coming live at you again for another Film Fanatic show. Hope everyone's doing good. Yeah, it is Thursday morning. Beautiful day, 10:18. The weather's been pretty sweet. I think it's supposed to rain a little bit this weekend, but it is what it is. So I hope everyone's doing good. I want to thank again the people who have been, always posting nice comments on these videos and some of the new subscribers that have come on board. I've gotten quite a few new subscribers over the last 2 or 3 weeks, so it's been pretty awesome. And yeah, so I'm probably going to go to the movies on Sunday, so I'm kind of excited. I'm going to be going with some friends to that run. It's still up in the air. We're still trying to make a plan, but my friend Sam and Buffy and my friend Aaron, they're all great friends and fellow film fanatics. And so we're trying to make a plan to maybe go see a movie on Sunday. And I've talked about those guys a lot. Aaron was on the show it was last year. Aaron Kirkpatrick, who's a really great friend, hardcore movie fan. We've gone to a shit ton of movies and we've done some music things together. Even we she was on the show with another friend, another guest, Lenny, who they had done this kind of like a vaudeville show that was really interesting and funny and weird and wacky, and it was like a video show, and I did a review of that show and then had them both on the channel, and it was really great. It's actually one of my favorite interviews that I have on this channel. It was really cool, and it was pretty unconventional, the stuff that they do. And but since then, I mean, even before that, Aaron and I have been good friends, and we go see movies quite a bit. We've had one of the best film going experiences we ever had. We went into it totally cold. I barely knew anything about the movie, and there was only maybe 5 or 6 other people in the theater, and we had both gone to see The Substance in the theater, and that was a fucking trip. That was mind blowing. We were both just blown away by that movie. We've had some just incredible experiences, and then also um, one we've seen some really great movies. We saw Killers of the Flower Moon, the last Martin Scorsese movie. We saw that in the theater, and that was really great to see. Very long movie, but it was awesome. We spent the whole day in the theater watching the movie because the movie's almost 3 hours, and then we went out for a really great dinner afterwards, and it was awesome. And then on the more recent side of things, we we had gone. All of us had actually gone to see Nosferatu, and that was great. That was really awesome. I've seen that in the theater. I saw that in the theater twice, which I haven't done in years, and then I bought it on Blu-ray and I've watched it. So I've seen it about three or four times. But that was a really great experience going to see that movie. And Buffy and Sam they run the Waldo After Dark, which is an amazing film series that they show a lot of low budget exploitation movies. And lately, they've been doing this big kind of presentation, kind of a memorial for the late great one of my favorite directors of all time, David Lynch. He passed away earlier this year, unfortunately. And so what they did with the Waldo After Dark is they've been showing some of his films as a tribute, and they've been doing a whole kind of presentation, and it's been awesome. Three movies all together. The first one was Eraserhead, which I got to see, and that was just absolutely spectacular on the big screen. And then the last one, which was probably about a week or two ago, was Wild at Heart, starring Nick Cage, and another mind blowing experience. That was an extra special event for me because, the whole night was crazy and weird because the projector wasn't working, the lights weren't working in the building, and it was just kind of chaotic, and it just added it added so much to the whole experience. And that movie really has a personal thing for me, or a personal connection, because it was the first movie I ever saw of David Lynch, and it was like my introduction to his work as a kid, and first time I saw Nicolas Cage, Laura Dern, and the amazing Willem Dafoe. So it was such a pivotal movie for me, and it remains my favorite, one of my favorite Lynch films. Probably my favorite, my favorite film of his is Blue Velvet. And this week they're going to be showing on Saturday. They're going to be showing the last movie of the series, and that's going to be Mulholland Drive, which is another masterpiece. I've only seen that movie like once or twice, which is crazy. I did see that. I remember seeing that film in the theater when it came out. Just a spectacular movie. I really think, as far as the kind of the modern films that David Lynch did, for me, it's like the last really great one. And they came out quite a few years ago, but Inland Empire, which was his last film, it was okay. It was all right. Laura Dern's in it. Not not a fantastic film, but pretty good. And then he also did he did two, I think, two additional seasons of Twin Peaks, which wasn't really a big fan of. But I feel like Mulholland Drive was kind of the real, the last really great film that he did. And so, but unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to attend that. So, but if you're in the area, definitely check it out. And then on Sunday, we might go see. Again, we're making plans, tentative plans to go see it. We might be going to see Bring Her Back, which is a new horror movie that I don't know very much about. I'm trying to stay in the dark about it. I haven't seen any trailers about it. Don't know really anything about it. I know the directors made a movie, I think it's called Talk to Her, a few years back, which was pretty good. I do want to see it again. I had some issues with it, but I thought overall that movie was really well directed. It was a good movie, but I don't know. There were certain things around the story, and I guess maybe to a degree the level that I could believe what was happening. I had mixed things about that movie, but I thought, from as far as a film and the direction of the film, it was really good. And I guess the directors for this film and that film were both YouTube guys, and they basically made, they just put their hat in the ring and decided to become full-fledged filmmakers. So we might go see this movie. I think it'll be really good. I'm kind of excited to see what this will be about. And anyway, and in the meantime, I always have a ton of movies that I want to get to and talk about. I've been in the midst of covering a shit ton of westerns. I got this crazy box set about a month or two ago. It's got 20 westerns on it, and every movie on here has been pretty fantastic. I just uploaded a new show of another one of these movies called Rage at Dawn from 1955. A really old school western, really good, really really great. I had never seen that as well, and so today's show is going to be on another movie from this really awesome collection that I got. And the biggest surprise is I just love that I haven't seen any of these movies, so it's essentially like, it's all first time viewings, and I'm on the third disc now, and there's 4 discs in total, shit ton of movies, so super fun. And today's movie is a powerhouse of an action movie, and that movie is Chino. And it's from 1973. Again, I never seen this movie before, and it's just super awesome. Stars the one of my favorite action stars of all time, one of the most badass, iconic figures ever in cinema, and the amazing Charles Bronson. Charles Bronson, of course, amazing. most probably well known for the Death Wish franchise, which is just badass and incredible. Those are movies I need to get on Blu-ray. I haven't seen those movies in years, and they're totally amazing films. He also was in a ton of westerns. Uh, just an incredible, legendary career, Charles Bronson. I mean, to me, he's like and Chino from 1973, which is a movie I've never seen, is it's just badass. This movie is so awesome. Charles Bronson is just so amazing in it. There's some fight scenes and action sequences in it where you're just like, fuck yeah, this is prime time Charles Bronson. He's such a badass in this movie. He plays this rancher who is kind of this loner, and he takes in this this younger kid or this younger guy to kind of help him. And he's this total loner, and he's at odds. And um, there's this group of these other cowboys that own this land, and then there's like a big kind of feud that goes on as far as where the property line is, and it leads to lots of violence, and it's great. It's super badass. And 1973, it's super low budget too. There's some. I thought this movie was an Italian movie, but it was actually directed by an American director. But it definitely has an Italian feel. There were definitely in the credits. Again, I had never seen this movie before, and it was definitely there's definitely Italian, a big time Italian influence. There were some Italian names in the credits. There was two co-directors, Giulio Colette and John Sturgis. John Sturgis gets the main credits, but when you look up the film, it has Giulio Colette on here. It came out in actually it was released in '76, but I think it was released in Europe in '73, and then 3 years later it came out in the States. I definitely consider this movie to be part of kind of the low down and dirty kind of Western exploitation vibe. Definitely has a spaghetti Western vibe. And the music for this movie is absolutely incredible. It's got one of the coolest opening sequences. The cinematography is awesome, really great. The soundtrack is it's called the Freedom Rainbow, and it's just beautiful. It's haunting, really kind of melancholy, just great. It just the music is so great in this movie that it really feels like another character. So great, and yeah, I mean, massive Charles Bronson fan. So I don't really, unfortunately, I don't own a lot of his films on Blu-ray, which is kind of a crime because he's the man. And Charles Bronson, I think like I've said, Nick Cage is my favorite actor of all time, and I feel like Charles Bronson has that same kind of thing of where Nick Cage can be in a movie that, well, it's maybe not so great, but he is always awesome in it. I think there's certain actors that have that when they're on the big screen, they just have this presence and this persona that you just love looking at them. I think there's Willem Dafoe is another actor like that. I feel for me, and definitely Charles Bronson is one of those guys, and he can be in a bad movie, which I honestly can't think of a bad movie that I've seen him in. He made a shit ton of westerns, again, all kinds of great, fantastic action movies in the '60s and '70s, and probably most well known for the Death Wish franchise, which is, they're all just amazing. They get increasingly more insane as they go. I think there's like four of them. Those are movies I really, really want to see again, and I really, really want to buy on Blu-ray. So, and I think Charles Bronson was like an actor, and and he made a lot. He was involved with a lot of films that I think would probably have a hard time being made today. because of, you know, the, you know, let's face it, he was in a lot of movies and played a lot of characters, even in this film where, you know, he's not, he's, you know, you kind of root for him and you have this empathy towards him, but for him or as a character, but he does some things in this movie that are kind of awful. And I think at that time when a lot of these films came out, you know, they would have a hard time being made today because, you know, I think the Death Wish films, for instance, not politically correct in any way, shape, or form. So, but, you know, kind of punk rock that way. And I kind of feel like Charles Bronson was just so badass that he was like a punk rocker, you know, like in the truest sense. He was a real outlaw and, you know, didn't fit in with the status quo, wasn't always a nice guy. So, you know, with the characters that he played and did some pretty questionable things, a little bit of like an anti hero too, where you kind of root for him, but he's done some questionable things. And he's only really in you know his own self preservation a lot of the times too. But amazing movie, super entertaining. Some of the best. There's one scene in this movie, or there's a couple. There's actually quite a few scenes, but there's one scene where he's in the town, in this saloon, and all these cowboys that are affiliated with this other rancher. That you know they're trying to he's trying to start this beef with Charles Bronson's character because of where the property is, where his ranch is, and then also Charles Bronson's character is, and he's just kind of this bastard, and he sends his men, his goons into town, and Charles Bronson is you know by himself with this kid that he's kind of taken in to help on the ranch, and they all like basically try to beat him up and try to kill him, and he just fucks everyone up. Like it's just so badass. And you know when you think of you know I'm a big fan of action sequences and set pieces and all these things, and the action in these films is like really violent and just are not dated. Like they look great. They have this certain level of ferocity to them and intensity. It's great. I mean, and that's really due to you know just the presence that Charles Bronson had. I mean, just you know, just a bad motherfucker. So, yeah, check it out. It's called Chino from 1973, although it was released here in the States in 76. Awesome movie. So, thanks again, and we will see you next time. Peace.